Glad to have you guys back for another session tonight. Definitely, definitely helps get prepared, I guess, for the following week. But there's a lot of good setups that I'm seeing this week from the strong close that we had Friday. Um, I know some of the guys talked about a little bit tonight: snow and space, MU. But I'm going to go ahead and cover some of the earnings report plays that are obviously due this week as well, and some of them are actually looking pretty good. Um, if you guys go to the Discord channel over here at the very bottom, there's a, under market data, there's earnings reports. We go through Earnings Whisper to actually do all this, and he actually will post when earnings are actually released on this. This is earnings per share. This is done every quarter for these companies that show that either a win or a loss or beat or whatever. But we like to play a lot of these in anticipation of the move that looks good in its favor. Okay, so some people think some of these stocks will really, boost their, have a really good quarter, I guess, of sales or earnings in that sense. So a lot of people like to play the anticipated move up in accordance with it. But if you guys go through this, obviously you can see what's happening here. We've got Tuesday, we've got Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and after close means after 4 p.m. You're going to have these companies post their earnings, and of course it's going to make the stock either run up or drop like a rock, okay, or stay flat sometimes. But it depends on obviously how good or bad or unexpected the earnings are. Some of us have played some of the overnight hold. Will hold an option, overnight as a lotto. Okay, it's a high risk play to do that. If you're playing your Chewy, let's say you're playing Chewy all day and Chewy's looking good and Chewy's continue running, it's doing well, and you accidentally or without paying attention, they had earnings that night, and all of a sudden they drop like a rock on Wednesday morning, and you're like, man, that play ran strong today, but I'm losing my ass this morning because you held your position overnight due to the fact that maybe they had a bad earnings or something, and you're getting crushed the next day. And it's a dangerous game to play due to that fact as well. So if you guys hold any earnings overnight, be very, very careful with it. I treat it like I'm willing to lose the money kind of thing. It's not a trade. If you don't have an account that you're willing to risk a little bit of money in order to possibly lose that entire amount in the trade, trust me, the next day I've what was it, Zoom? I held some Zoom calls that were $9 and something a contract, and the next day I sold them for 56 cents. So just something to keep in mind. You do not obviously want to put a ton of money in it. If you bought 10 contracts and paid 10 grand, the next day you're getting like what, $50
500, maybe
or
500 bucks.
500 bucks. So it's kind of shit money, So not a strategic plan to do. I had 5 contracts when I did that, and of course, I lost pretty much 5 grand, 4.5 grand doing that. So it's very easy to lose money if you guys can't afford to do that. That's why I highly suggest don't play these earnings reports if you can't, if you're not willing to risk whatever money you do it. If you do it in, maybe throw in like $100 position or something really small. We had one player actually in here that played Zoom on an earnings report play as well and turned, I think, $700 into almost just over 10 grand. So things do happen in favor of the play. Okay, it's not a position that doesn't do it, but it's really good. So just be mindful of it, to be respectful of it. I don't really like to hold over earnings. I just will play the move, the anticipated move up into close, and then I'm out. So just be mindful of that. So I'm going to go ahead and cover some of these earnings plays coming up. Some of my favorites, I guess. But I've got listed here. We've got JKS, we've got Adobe, we've got Chewy, we've got Costco, and Lulu. Obviously, there's a lot more, and if you guys want to, look at the screenshot here of the top ones that are actually reporting earnings, you can kind of do your own depth on a chart if you like, or really dig into the fundamentals of this company and kind of see exactly what you can play. Just because I'm going to play these particular ones doesn't mean it's the only best ones out there. Okay. But this is just kind of my choice, my select choice. So take it as you will. But JKS is reporting earnings tomorrow in pre-market, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up JKS's chart here. We've played this one in the past just because it was a freak of nation that decided to make this entire move right here. back in September. It ran from $20 range here all the way up to almost, $90 up here. Just literally with zero pullback, pretty much. It was just green day after green day after green day, until finally on, let's see, that was October 21st, we finally had our big pullback on that. So I made some good money scalping the moves. I'd never held overnight due to the fact it was just seemed like, what is going on here? Just going up an insane move. This is a solar company. So in this sense, solar is kind of hot to some degree. So, some of these solar stocks do get a little action. The chart right now is looking at fairly well. We obviously found some pretty massive support. I want to say at 56.37 due to this entire new run. It's kind of found a new level. It seems like we had a lower high here. We bounced again. We had another lower high here. And so far we're trading around this $60 to $56 range. So if earnings tomorrow, which is going to be announced in pre-market, we'll go ahead and take a look at that data. Right here, JKS is confirmed report earnings at approximately 6:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, December 7th. The consensus is an estimate of 85 cents per share on revenue of $1.29 billion. Okay. So looking at that, people are expecting this to be a beat. It's not going to be a loss. We'll see exactly what kind of action happens out of this. So there may be a gap up. Let's just say they do really good, or maybe it's a gap up here and it just starts going off for the day. We'll see what that looks like, but at least this could be a potential play for me tomorrow. If the market, gaps it up tremendously or something like that. And if it's a runaway gap, I'll play it. If it's not a runaway gap, you guys are going to have a slow bleeding downward play. Okay. So obviously we'll have to always mind the gap. These earnings will generally always produce some sort of gap. So when we go back to that, we could look at the 2-minute chart, and right away, I know that's a support level, but maybe we gap up, where a chart starts maybe up here somewhere around 67 or $68 if it's a gap up. And if it wants to run away and break maybe a key level, that's a good entry and shows strength, then I may play it. But if it gaps up here and it starts bleeding, then it's just going to be a slow downward spiral till it finally fills a gap fill and maybe even go beyond it, depending on how the sellers decide to take it. A lot of big gap ups generally sell off, so that's kind of why I'm leery about them. But I've seen some really good plays have really good earnings and gap up massively and actually go on a good several many day running streak. So not to say that won't happen. It'll just be something I'll definitely observe tomorrow. But anyway, looking at that data on there was a consensus here. Let's say on Friday, November 27th, there was a notable buying of 5,113 contracts of the $80 puts. Okay. So someone's obviously got a little bit of a, something against this, so to speak. Obviously, we've ran in a tremendous way here. There's not to say that this guy is probably making money or not making money. But we'll see. Maybe sometimes we could have a gap down, and that's exactly what could happen too. I have not dug into the fundamentals of JKS. I don't know what kind of revenue this company is. Obviously, if it's worse than the estimate is right here, and it's unexpected, the market on this particular stock is going to tank pretty bad. On December 18th, 2020 was their expiration for those puts. Okay, so options traders are pricing a 12.8% move on earnings, and the stock has averaged 8.9% move in recent quarters. Now, taking a look at actual, options on this, let's just take a look exactly what these look like. So December 18th, let's just say you want to play calls. Their volume is there. The implied volatility is up pretty high. Okay, and when market anticipates something really good, it's a demand. Okay. They're going to be slapping the ask on these options. They're going to be loading up to like, oh, JKS is going to have something good. It's going to, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. They're anticipating a move. Like I said, options are a contract of a right to buy a stock. This is not stock. Options are not stock at all. It's literally a piece of paper that is betting on the stock to move in your favor. So in that sense, we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens here, but implied volatility is at 122%, meaning that as demand increases for this, the implied volatility increases as well. Obviously, when earnings comes out, this gets crushed, causing that premium to drop pretty dramatically. That's why I don't hold her over into earnings. But with that being said, that's not a bad call option. The $70 ones there, probably 65s are, 65s are still pretty good. I probably won't go past 70. Yeah, well, even 75 is okay. 80s pushing it. Yeah, I wouldn't go 90 though. It looks like 80 may be okay just because people are expecting earnings. Still pretty good implied volatility too. But let's take a look at those puts. The $80 put somebody got, obviously pretty far in the money here. They're expensive. Yeah, super, super thin due to that data. Let's say we did out of the money puts. $50 ones actually don't look too bad. 10-cent spread right there, 2000 in volume. The theta and delta are about flat, and it's almost a neutral play. So as long as it's in your favor, it'll make money, but definitely not something you hold. But we'll see exactly what that looks like in pre-market. It may be a play tomorrow. It may not. But we'll see what happens with that one. Adobe. Okay, Adobe's our next one here. Let's take a look at the chart. Taking a look at Adobe, looks like we've actually had a pretty decent recovery. We've definitely fallen back down here in October. Saw a lower high back in early November. Flagged for a minute here, consolidated. Looks like for about close to 2 weeks there before finally breaking out to a little bit higher level. So it's anticipating a little push right there. The earnings on this one's actually got a couple days. This is the 9th. Okay. It's Wednesday after hours. So we got a little bit of time on this one. We got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before earnings come out, unlike JKS, which is tomorrow morning. So this one's actually got a couple days, which is more of my playing style. If buyers anticipate higher, and so on, that they want to continue playing it, then of course I'm going to throw those levels up there. I'm going to watch these daily candles. I'm going to watch break of previous candle highs, which Friday highs there, Thursday highs right there. So I want to watch those key levels, see if strength is there and it's going to anticipate in its favor, so to speak. I've got 3 full days to trade this, to put in three 3 daily candles before we finally hit that mark at December 9th right there. So we'll see exactly how that looks like. If it wants to continue pushing up, so far it looks like it's tried pushing up but been closing down right there. So if I take a look at the 2-minute chart here, it probably shows like they've tried to push it up in the morning. Yep, exactly, and fade in the afternoon. So with that being said, push-ups in the morning, fade in the afternoon. Looks like Thursday did the exact same thing. Yep, push in the morning and fade in the afternoon. So most likely tomorrow it could push up again tomorrow and then fade in the afternoon. So we'll see if it does that. If it does break a key level up here at the top, which would be, I'm actually going to lower this right here due to the fact that this was our high on Friday. If we get above that high, then we're looking good. If we get above Thursday's high, which is right there, then we're going to be looking good as well. But it shows strength. It wants to break out new levels. But obviously, if it pops up, then of course you're going to have to be contracting to, well, what did it do Thursday? What did it do Friday? If I'm buying right here and it starts pushing on up, then you have to respect those levels, because it may not break it. It may go to that and just fade off again for the afternoon. So if the anticipation is not there, then it's not going to be a play for me. And if I don't see enough reward for my entry and too much risk, it's just not going to be a play as well. But something to watch going into tomorrow, and we'll take a look at those options that could possibly play out for that. Let's take a look at the data actually first. So Adobe here is a confirmed port earnings approximately 4:05 p.m. on Wednesday, December 9th. The consensus is estimated at $2.65 per share on revenue of 3.36 billion. I'm going to get through all this data right here and just see what notable buying was here. So on Wednesday, November 18th, which is, well, quite a ways, there was a notable buying of 4,083 contracts of the $460 calls and 4,014 contracts of the $460 puts. Somebody bought themselves a straddle. Expiring on Friday, December 18th, options traders are pricing in a 5.7% move on earnings. Stock has averaged about 6.3 move in recent quarters. So someone bought a straddle, which is not a bad idea. It means they're going to make money if it goes up, and they're going to make money if it goes down. That option, though, is expiring as it goes. I don't know how that straddle is probably doing at this time, but let's take a look exactly what options we would play in the favor of this here. So Adobe, yeah, you could probably get away with December 11th due to the fact that it's Wednesday. Mike, can he get away with the 500 calls? To be honest, they're a little spready. Volume's a little low there. I haven't played Adobe in forever, and I know if I remember right, it's always been a spready stock. But if it breaks 490, 499, 500s up here, it could very possibly push its way on up to $500 by earnings date, maybe even beyond it a little bit. But I'd say if I was going to play it, I'd probably play these 500s for December. If I felt like I needed a little more time on there, I'll go ahead and add a 18 just as a safety net. I'm not paying a whole lot extra for it. The spread is still, 30 cents there, 35 cents or 40 cents actually. 619 in volume. The Fed is not bad. The Delta's okay. I mean, it's a day trading option here. It's not really a swing trading option there. What does this one look like? 500s. Yeah, that's a rougher option too. As long as the move looks good, I may play it, but then again, I may not even touch this one if it's not going to break that level. If it pushes hard, if it breaks out of this 491, then we'll likely go see 500, which is a $9 move, and that option should move pretty good considering a $9 move. $9 in its favor will put that move. Yeah, I'll get about $1.50 to $2 a contract if it makes a $9 move. So that's not bad. That's not a bad trade. It just may be a little slower. So moving on to the next one here, we've got Chewy. Chewy's been a good play lately, and I think the chart is actually set up pretty good. So taking a look at Chewy. Yeah, Chewy looks really good. Good move on Friday. Breaking all-time highs up here as well. We closed above all-time highs still at this 74.51. We're at 74.94. So good chance of that. We'll see exactly how she looks tomorrow. I actually need to raise that just a hair. So we're just barely above it, but still there. We did push up, looks like on Monday, Tuesday, fell back on Wednesday and Thursday. Actually, this is last Friday and Monday were the big days. So there's a good chance that since for our past Friday there, we'll have a definitely good, solid Monday off of this one right here, based off of last Friday and last Monday. So last Friday here, Monday could definitely push a pretty nice move on that. So if we push above it, then of course I'll start looking for these next price targets up here. But that chart looks pretty primed. It looks like we closed nearly high of day on Friday. Yeah, looks like the meat of the move was pretty much around midday though. Or actually, no, this is yeah, that's midday. So taking a look at this about 3 o'clock. No, hang on. That's our close into Thursday. Here's our open on Friday. So yeah, first thing in the morning, it pushed up and then flagged all day was what it did. So the first little morning pop was it, and then we flagged all day. So if we look good to break, it looks like we had a little bit of a high right here, just beyond that breakout level. So 75.15 on Friday. So if we break that level, it could definitely show strength to going up here to see 77. That's a pretty good move. So playing breakout of 75.15 is probably where I'll throw alerts at tomorrow morning, and then start looking at price targets beyond this. I'll take in depth a little bit more on it, but we break that level, I'd say it's definitely a play. Grab some calls, anticipate this move to push higher. We could see 77, probably the high target tomorrow. I mean, it may go past 77, we'll see, but if it hits like a 75, 76, 77 and some change through here, could be some other targets too, but I'll have to take a look at those later. But Chewy looks good. Let's take a look at these options in this data here. This is exactly what's happening here. So it's reporting earnings on Tuesday afternoon, okay, Tuesday evening. So we've got a full day Monday and a full day Tuesday to trade this without actually holding in earnings. December 8th, the consensus estimate is for a loss of 15 cents per share. Okay, so they're already expecting a loss. If it comes out with a beat, it could definitely be pretty good. If it comes out with a worse loss, obviously it's not going to really help anything at all there. But let's take a look. On Thursday, November 19th, there was a notable buying of 5,826 contracts of the $55 puts. Okay, expiring December 18th. Well, I can obviously tell you this guy is losing his ass. I mean, if he bought puts that far out, and we're at all-time highs, he's losing his ass. But that's his that's his ordeal, I guess. 5,800 contracts for $55 puts that he bought on November 19th. Let's see exactly how smart of a decision that was here. He bought it right here. I can't believe it. We've moved up $5, $6 a share right here so far. So he's losing his ass pretty good on those puts. But you know, that's why I take a look at it. I never buy off of options flow just for that exact reason. Some of these guys with a lot of money and a lot of contracts don't have a clue what they're doing when it comes to the move. Sometimes, apparently, someone was trying to short it, and apparently they're still short if those contracts haven't been sold yet. So, kind of interesting there. But anyway, I'm going to be a little more callish on this due to the fact that I'm short term on this. We're pushing. We had a strong close on Friday. Good position to push higher. So taking a look at some calls on Chewy. Let's take a look exactly what we look like. December 11th, let's say 75. I could probably get away with the 80s, 77. I may play closer to the money, maybe 78s. What those look like? Yeah, volume's a little low. Yeah, volume is a bit low. What about 80s? Yeah, okay. 80s look better. As you guys notice, the off numbers have worse volume. And if you guys want something with good volume, go to the round numbers like 75 and 80. It seems like every fives, you're going to have good volume. But see that 1300 volume? You're going to go to 78s. You only got 256, 78 and a half. You're going to only have 43. 77, only 182, 76, 177. I go to 75 here and see I've got 950. 75 and a half, it's only 81. So people like round numbers. So if you choose an options, generally go for the ones that have a round number that people like within reason of it. So $80 calls, even though we're a little bit out of the money on that, is probably what I'll play. The spread is pretty good. It's only a 15-cent spread. Our theta is a little bit rough, but the delta is beating it to a degree there. We had a low of 154, high of 226, decent implied volatility. So I'd probably play those. I kind of like those chewy calls. If I want a little more time, maybe to December 18th, but I don't think I'll need that more time due to the fact I'm just playing for Tuesday. Still good volume on 80s, good spread. I mean, decent spread, not the greatest, but decent. Theta and delta obviously much better. Yeah, volume still low on the off numbers here. So December 11th, $80 calls for Chewy. All right, so going to our next one here, we've got Costco coming up with earnings reporting at 4:05 p.m. Thursday. So we've got literally 4 full days of trading on that one. December net 10th, the consensus earnings estimate is $2.04 per share on revenue, 42 billion. Sentiment going to the company's earnings release have 76% expecting an earnings beat. Okay, so somebody's thinking earnings beat on this one. So on Monday, November 23rd, there was a notable buying of 3,281 contracts of the $410 calls expiring on Friday, December 18th. Options traders are pricing in a 3.4% move on earnings, and the stock has averaged 1.1% move in recent quarters. I haven't played Costco in a while, but I want to say this chart is actually doing, I don't know. I don't think the chart is actually doing that great, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. Yeah, we've definitely pulled down the past few days here. Definitely had a pretty nice all-time high right here, though, and it looks like we didn't really break it with affirmation, but you know, it's pulled back obviously, and it looks like we're kind of at a trend line here. If it looks like it bounces tomorrow, there's a potential I could play this, I guess. And that trend line is hitting some pretty key areas. It looks like. Specifically, these two lows are definitely on that trend line. We just touched it there Friday, so we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. If it's got a bounce, it looks like we bounced a little bit into close with that wick coming down. But let me go ahead and take a look. Yes, we did. We did bounce a little bit into close. Nothing serious, but definitely a nice little green full candle shooting off into close there. So we'll see on this one. I'll probably have to see some sign of reversal. I've got some bottom airing right here, obviously on our 2 minute, and it looks like it has a top right here, and they tried to close it above it. There's a sign that this could definitely start reversing. It is on that trend line, like I said, so it may actually ride up through there and push up, but could be potentially play tomorrow. But if it looks weak, I'll probably leave it alone, even if it's got earnings coming up. It's not always worth risking money for that kind of move. But on Monday, notable buying of 3,281 contracts for 10 contracts expiring Friday, December 18th. Let's take a look at some of these contracts. Costco. I haven't shopped at Costco in ages, but I guess it's kind of like a Sam's Club. Let's see here. 380 calls. Yeah, so volume. That and Delta a little rough. Maybe December 18th is what we're looking like. Due to the fact of a red day, these are definitely got hurt a little bit on Friday. 410 though, that's pretty far out of the money. Why would somebody get 410s? I guess they're only 50 something cent. Yeah, this is way that's not worth it, guys. 50, 60 cents. Very low volume. I'd probably stick with 380s. You could probably get away with 390s. It's pushing it there. Let's say look at December 11th. Let's go back up here. 380s. Yeah, I'd probably play 380s, 385s. A little bit rough on that spread. 390s, a little rough on the spread. Volume is still so there. Yeah, we start really shooting off at 395, and then 400s looking rough too. I'll probably, like I said, I think I'll stick with the 380s on that one. Just if it has a good move. If volume is there and we start surging pretty good, then I'll like it. But if not, I'll just leave this play alone entirely. All right, so moving on to the next one, Lulu. This is kind of like a piton play in a sense, just because they kind of rule the same sector as you will. But taking a look at Lulu's chart, go back to a daily here. It's pushing up, little creepily at a time. Okay, it's nothing crazy big moves right here. I don't have some massive candles. I love having big candles because obviously it's good movement for options. But it looks like around this 383, 384 area has been resistance on Thursday. We pulled. It looks like we've sold off into close, but still closed slightly green on Thursday. And then, of course, it was a gap up and tried to recover on Friday. But nothing really serious on that one. If it looks like it wants to break some of these highs through there, then I may entertain it. But nothing crazy excited about that one. Earnings are obviously on 12/10. I got it marked here on the chart. That's Thursday and after hours, so same time as Costco there. Let's take a look at this data here, see what Earnings Whisper says about it. So reporting earnings 4:05 p.m. on Thursday, estimated 85 cents per share on revenue. Expecting a 74% on earnings beat. Okay, so 74% of options traders in this are expecting an earnings beat. On Wednesday, November 25th, there was a notable buying of 1,225 contracts of the 350 calls expiring on Friday, December 18th. So 350. So someone is definitely in the money on those, I think, right? Yeah, 350, and we're at 370. So let's take a look at Lulu. Those 350 calls. I'm not going to play those being so far in the money. But yeah, $30 contracts. Let's take a look at something within reason here. So if we break that 383, I'd probably actually entertain a $400 contract on this. Because we've hit our high right there. I've also got a small resistance right there at 391 based off the close of that candle. Yeah, I might. I mean, 390s, 400s. I'd probably entertain a 400. So 400 call, $6, $76.70. A little spready right there. Let's see what 390s look like. Oh, the volume is terrible. 380s. Volume is doable, but it's not the greatest. That theta burn is terrible versus the delta. If you guys play this one, only play it for a breakout, okay? Only play it for a small trade or scalp. This is definitely not a holding option. And I may actually play the 400s. We had a low of $6 and a high of $8 on that teeny tiny little move that it made on Friday, okay? Little tiny candle, nothing crazy. If it breaks out and gets some strong volume down here off the bottom and starts pushing up towards 391, if we break 383 and go to 391, it's a pretty substantial move, a $7 move. Very, very plausible to do that. If it goes $7 in our favor, if we got a 400 here, and I look at a 392, 670, I make $3 a contract. No, $2 contract. So I mean, there's still money to be made. $2 a contract's nothing fabulous, but it is pretty not too shabby. But anyway, could be a possible play, but it's up in the air. I'm just covering these earnings plays, guys. Let's see exactly what those do. But most importantly, I'm going to go to my A list right here, and I'm going to start going down through the list of plays I really like versus, some of these earnings plays. If you guys like the earnings plays tonight, make sure you guys take notes of it if you like it. And we'll see exactly how they look. If they look set up tomorrow, I'm definitely going to put them on the watch list for the day. If they don't look set up for tomorrow, then I'll probably just watch them and wait for a potential play on it. But let's go down the list here of other potential plays for this week. American Airlines obviously had a really good day on Thursday, had some pullback on Friday. I still want to watch this due to the fact that vaccines are, being worked on right now. Airlines are getting a little excited about some hope of, you know, more business potential. So we'll see exactly what happens here. So I'm not throwing airlines out the window yet. I think they still have potential to recover due to the fact that they are the most crushed up sector in the market right now, just based off of the heat map on SPY. Down here at the bottom, if I go to the last 3 months performance, actually the last year's performance, Boeing and some of this aerospace and defense sector has definitely gotten hurt pretty good. Boeing is definitely the worst one out of it, but we'll see exactly. Boeing is kind of like the mother hen to this one. So if it looks good, I can see American Airlines pushing back up. So we'll pay attention to it for now. Apple, a little bit of a pullback on Thursday and Friday, but it broke out of this hard resistance it had. So it made two good plays actually on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday, actually, some pretty good trades on Apple, and that was on the watch list as well. I know some of the people traded it. There's good moves there. They broke some resistances and showed it. It tried to break that 123.40, and it's struggling at that area. I've had that as a key breakout level. If it breaks it, it's good. But if not, then of course it may come down here and visit 120.64, as it looks like we're on our way to do that. So give it another day, give it another 2 days maybe, and it'll be a play again if it starts pushing back up, if it respects that. If it doesn't, it may come down here and test the trend line that it broke here in several cases. We finally broke it right there. So it may actually venture its way down to actually touch it before retracing, or may not be a play until later. So don't force Apple. Nothing really that great going on with it, but it does stay on my radar at all times. So watching this one closely, but nothing really exciting right now. Some of the wheat stocks got a little pullback on Friday. They've been pushing up pretty strong. Still look really good though. There's still potential on it. The bad factor of it, obviously, the bill that was passed from the House, I guess, what was it, Friday, I think, has to go to the Senate, and it doesn't look like the outlook to the Senate is going to be approving this bill. So definitely watch this. We could probably get some pretty negative impact to the weed stock. So I'm just watching them just to get to see exactly what kind of action comes out of that whole situation. But if it's negative, I'm not really playing the weed stocks, but of course I got a lot of people in the chat room who do like to play them. So I like to keep tabs on them just to see exactly how they're performing. Adobe, we covered that one with earnings. AMD, okay, pretty serious comeback. We faltered pretty hard on Thursday. We came back pretty strong on Friday. And as you guys see right here, we're kissing 94.59. And that was Thursday's high and Friday's high. Okay. We didn't break it. It was just 2 days in a row. It tapped it, couldn't do it, faltered on Thursday, and then recovered back on Friday. So they're literally the Bulls are coming back in, erasing the loss that the Bears were trying to give to AMD. We had an all-time high right here on Wednesday, which was pretty nice, all the way up here to 96 due to that news they dropped with Amazon. If it breaks this 94.59, I'm definitely playing it. I think I showed this in a video in class last Friday. And if we break that 94.59, I'm going to start looking for these targets next above it. So expect a candle to finally push through that tomorrow and start breaking these targets. We could easily put a candle like that tomorrow. If it looks strong, it looks like an average move is about $4 to $6 candle on a daily move. So if it breaks that level, look for $4 to $5, maybe even $6 move and put in a good candle, as long as we get some strong volume down here off the bottom. So definitely a strong play. I'll see what it looks like in pre-market, but this is definitely going probably on the watch list in the morning. And of course, I'll probably play those $100 calls expiring for December 18th. And I'll just show you those calls, what they look like. December 18th, $100 calls, $1.70, $1.69, 1 cent spread. Okay, look at that, 42,000 in volume on Friday. That's nuts. Implied volatility is only still 42%. That's pretty good. But that is some serious, way above average volume for AMD. That's like a SPY volume almost. But anyway, average volume on AMD, one dude, I don't know exactly, but I want to say it's more like 5, maybe 10,000 in volume. It's never been that high that I can recall, or at least not in my noticeable realm. 95s, they got 28 too. I mean, that is some serious volume, but they always have good volume. That's why I like to play AMD. It's a cheaper stock. It does give good options for anybody who does want to trade AMD. It's always been a good play. But I like this one going into tomorrow. Good potential with that one. Amazon, on the other hand, I'm not really liking the bullish sentiment on Amazon. I want to see some recovery off this right now. I actually need to throw up another trend line here due to the fact that we kept breaking that current one. But I'm going to just throw it up here to see exactly what that is. Throw it up right there. Let's see how that plays out. I don't know. It may test this. It may hang above it. If not, it still looks a little bit weak. We did crush Thursday's lows and Wednesday's lows and kissed Tuesday's lows on Friday. So if it breaks Tuesday's lows, then, expect to see Monday's lows, 31.20s. So far, we're at that 31.60. It's literally at a support zone. As you guys see, I've got marked right here. If it breaks that, then of course I'm going to see 31.31 and then 30.90 and so on. But I like playing puts on this. They pay really well. It is an expensive option play. If you guys are new to options, I do not suggest you play Amazon. It's like a Zoom. It's a spready mover. It's a big mover, so it does move fast. But something to watch. I like to play it because I know a lot of the other players in the room do play this one as well. APHA, another weed stock with potential. Boeing. Pull back on Friday. Okay. It's got an inside day, meaning that it has a higher low and lower high of the previous day right there. So tomorrow may be another tiny little day out of it, or it may break Friday's high or Friday's low. I don't know. But I want to watch this one close. I like inside day moves on stocks due to the fact it gives me a very small parameter to where it can either break to the downside or break to the upside for a squeeze up or down. But I like Boeing. Boeing's actually paid really well. We're at this all-time high right here. We closed, not all-time high, but this previous high. We closed below it, though, on Friday. So I think there's a good case we may have the airlines starting to pull back from that vaccine move, I guess. So I'm watching it closely. But if it looks like we're going to pull back, then, of course, American Airlines, like we covered earlier, is going to do the exact same thing. Blink, battery stocks. Some of the EV sectors have definitely gotten pulled back pretty good. I'm going to go to the hourly on this one. Have definitely pulled back pretty substantially. It looks like we've tried to get a little bit of recovery on this on Friday, which this right here represents Friday's day right there. We pushed up. We actually did okay. If it wants to recover, because it's been on a downtrend here for the last many days, but if it gets some kind of recovery and starts pushing back up, then we could go on up here to see the $30 zone and break up. So we'll watch that one closely. I like Blink. The options are pretty spready though sometimes, but overall it's not a bad one. CGC, another weed stock, just watching with the sector. Chewy, we covered that one with earnings. CLDR had earnings on, what was it, the 3rd? That was last Thursday. Gapped up massively and starting to come down. I'm just watching it, observing it. Don't really expect too much of a play out of this, but I want to see exactly how this gap feels. If it comes on down to $11, it may not, but I'm just watching it. Nothing serious about this one at all. CLSK is a new stock to me. I have not played this one really at all. I know JSB and Kriegs have been playing this one quite a bit, but it's setting up beautifully. I mean, this daily chart is looking gorgeous. So if this continues up and we start breaking some high levels, Friday was actually a pretty clear symbol right there of this area right there. Looks like 1177.90. We start breaking that, then we'll start seeing these other candle highs and then maybe to that new high. But it's setting up to continue moving. Okay. I expect this one to probably push up towards that all-time high as we continue riding this trend line along. It may take its time. It may be, a week, 2 weeks, or whatever before it finally gets up here. But it is looking pretty good, and it does have options, and it's a cheap options opportunity for some. But I'll watch it tomorrow morning and see exactly how that looks. Costco earnings play. CRM. This is the one that is buying work. It's fell off a cliff due to the fact of selling off with it, and also the earnings right there, big gap down. It found a bottom right here at 216.06 for the meantime. Okay, had a slight recovery on Friday, but still closed down for the low of day on Friday. Slight recovery on Friday, and finally closed back up a little bit. I'm watching this one to kind of see if we get a little bit of a retrace. But if it's going to go sideways here for a couple weeks or a couple days, then it may not be a play at all. But I'm just observing it just because I see it as a dip opportunity, potentially maybe working its way up here. But if it goes sideways, it's probably not an options play at all. Cron, another weed ticker. CRWD is actually getting up here, new highs. They had earnings on the second last week, and this is exactly the situation I was talking about. This is where we closed on earnings day. Okay, big gap up. Okay, and this is exactly what this is doing. It's giving itself a couple days of running away, not even bleeding to fill the gap. This was last earnings right here. It actually didn't really gap up. It gapped up right here, but it bled into close. This time we're actually running away from the gap. So we may have another good strong day out of this one tomorrow if it breaks this 168.86, push up here to the 170s, maybe continue. We could throw up another candle that looks something like this right here. Maybe hit 173, maybe see a low of, around there on that trend line. But it'll be interesting. I'm watching it for any signs of a potential play. D King is on a retrace a little bit. We did find a seriously crazy low down here at 35s. Continue pushing up, and then it's slightly pulled back, but nothing crazy. It does have to consolidate or show some sign of reversal before we start pushing up to some highs, maybe pull back again, and then push back up to maybe break those all-time highs. So watch this one on your radar. It is following a kind of a decent trend right there. But I do like it. It's a slow mover though, but good potential with this one. Just another SPAC I'm playing. DSGT, another one. Etsy, definitely got some crazy highs up here too. This is all-time highs for Etsy. Monday, or no, that was last Friday. Strong move. New highs on Monday. Faltered Monday and Tuesday though, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are teeny tiny little candles. They're nothing crazy, but if it decides to push a shoot out of there, it just very well might. But I'm watching it. No play there yet, but could be this week for a play. Facebook, no play here yet as well. I think we could probably continue down a little bit more before probably bouncing a little bit later. And I don't like to play puts on these slow bleeds. It's just not worth it. FCEL is recovering some. It did have a big gap right here. I'm going to go back to the hourly due to the fact it's a small period of time that we're trading this. Big gap down, okay? And we've covered some here. It's went sideways and it's pushed up. There's a trade opportunities in this one. It's a little bit slow, though. I like the big moves. But for now, just to watch. Nothing really serious on this move just yet. But if it looks like it wants to go toward the gap fill, it could definitely be a nice little day trader scalp move in that one intraday. FedEx all-time highs. I know Chasing Freedom has been watching this one off the alerts. A little bit of a short days, a little bit tiny, tiny candles. It's not a big mover, but if you're playing commons, it's not a bad one. Did break above all-time highs right here at what is that, 293. Actually up here towards 296, above 296. We haven't closed above 296, but if it closes above 296, there's a good chance we'll definitely break the 300. So watch that this week. If we close above 296, start looking for those 300 targets. But for now, not really a play, but could be tomorrow or maybe Tuesday, depending on how much time it feels like it needs before it breaks new highs there. VAC, this is a SPAC play. Yeah, chasing. You should be fine watching it again this week. I think it's got potential, being that it's holding its gains there. FEAC is another SPAC play that's gotten some crazy, crazy moves here. Little bit of a sideways move on Friday. I gotta go to the hourly candle on this one, not the 2 minute. And it did push up strong for near the high of day at the end of the day on Friday. So this one right here has got potential. I know some of the others are watching this one, JSP and Kriegs. They do like this one. I think this one has a lot of potential. It's got good options too with it. If it breaks 1810, I'm all over it due to the fact that we had a close and an open right there. Breaking that level right there is just, it's just bread. It's just butter on the bread pretty much. 1777 will give you an early entry though. We break that right there. We'll shoot for that target of 1806. If we go beyond that, then we're going to start looking at 50 cents, 40 cents at a whop from then on. So we'll see what that one looks like. But FEAC, it's not something to be ignored. It does have good options with it. December 18th, let's do the $20 right there. Spready a little bit, the volume there. Even picking January's is probably not a bad idea. Gives you a little bit better spread and still has volume and way better theta to delta ratio. I mean, look at that, 54 cents versus only 5 cents of burn. That's probably more aligned the option that I would actually touch. At 260 and $4 high, implied volatility is still pretty relatively high there too. But watch this one. It's near a breakout level. Could potentially make a new high tomorrow, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Depends how much time it actually gets and how much volume comes in there. But I like it. Fastly. Throwing Fastly up there due to the fact of a big move on Friday. It retraced that move pretty strongly on Friday, but still kept above a key level here, 87.93. Still above that key level. I like it here due to the fact that we're still above it, but we saw a crazy high up here around close to $100. But there's a good possibility I'll play this one. I think I covered this one in a video over the weekend. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a 2-minute chart here and just show you why. Yeah, we did hold that level pretty good. Bounced off of it twice there, but there's no entry for me unless we break that level there, which was a high right there. It couldn't break after it fell. So if it breaks there, I'll enter there and I'll start shooting for every one of these price targets right here. So as we continue stair stepping up, that right there will be the price target of choice, though. If we come up here and then pull back, it's a double top. But if we pull and crush that, that shows some serious strength is coming to Fastly. But the faster it wants to push up in the morning, the better it has a chance of doing that. But good potential play for tomorrow. Moving on to the next ones here. FSR, I'm still watching this one. EV stock, FUV, same with that one. No plays yet, but watching this week. GM, watching this week. GM actually has potential to push up maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. Little teeny tiny inside day candle there. Pretty much a flat day on Friday. If it breaks above that 44.73 level right there, there's a good chance we could start retracing and pushing back up. Could take a couple days or a week before it finally reaches all-time high right there. But as you see, that's a $2 move from here to here. It's not nothing serious. But the options are super cheap. You guys like a little teeny, cheap options play, and it looks like we may go to like $46. You could play $46 calls. It still has volume. The spread is pretty tight, 2 cents right there. You could even get yourself some December 18s, $46 calls. 68 to 73. The volume is pretty low. Even some Januaries. What do Januaries look like? Because it may take itself a little bit of time there. Yeah, it's still really good right there. But I want to say December 18, $46 calls, maybe 45s. Yeah, 45s have better volume. But you get away with 46s if you had to. But 45s, I like 45s. Volume is really good. It's a round number. People like the round numbers. And that's only if it breaks that 44.73 level and wants to look like it's retracing, because it has pulled back pretty respectively. If it's not ready to bounce back, those calls are not going to be really that great at all. But just something to possibly watch. Highland is just falling off the edge of the earth due to Nikola. Nicola's hurt this one, I feel like, more than anything due to the fact they're in the exact same semi electric sector. Okay. Obviously, Nicola doesn't have a product. Highland does actually have a product, but investors just feel it as a very strong comparison, I guess, due to the fact that they got to have more out of it. Highland is not a social media play, really. So it's faltering really hard. I'm watching it, I'm observing it, obviously due to the fact it is something to watch. But it's falling off hard. I want to see some sign of reversal before I want to get anywhere near excited on that one. JKS, we covered that one. JMIA, the African Amazon, is got a little bit of action the past little few weeks here. Pushed up, pulled down. I don't know. I'm watching it due to the fact that others like to play it, and it's not really my play of choice, but I'll play along with it if it looks like there's a move. Lazr. This is just nuts. I don't really have any charting on this one whatsoever due to the fact it's just gone. Um, Big pump obviously going on with this one. It's made some substantial moves. It's closed up here. I rather have a little more chart to go off of, but I don't have much to go off at all except big candles. So obviously, if we break high here, break low here, I get a little clearer direction what's going to happen, or even a close and open right there could give me a little clear direction to see exactly what's happening. But I'm watching it. You can play a move if you feel confident with a 2 minute chart, but just know the danger with that due to the fact it's going to have its day of pullback. It's going to have its day of continually growing. It could hit $40. It could hit 50. Who knows? But it's definitely on an upward bound and could potentially keep going higher if the buyers keep just buying it up here. MJ, another weed sector. It's an ETF, but I'm just watching it with the weed stocks. Microsoft, little short candles. Nothing exciting here, but it is near trend line. And if we bounce there, it could potentially push back up. I feel like QQQ sector stocks like Microsoft are the ones that are going to really help, um, you know, keep SPY pushing up to those insane numbers 370s, 375, 380. Hell, maybe even 400 at the pace it's doing it. But we'll see what happens. Microsoft and some of these sector stocks have got to help with it too. They can't just be sideways or red. It's not going to happen. MU, we covered this one a little bit earlier today, but it's got maybe another day or 2 days left in it. I know that sounds nuts, but it's been having what the past couple of weeks here of just literally, I mean, a whole month of November has just been up from 49s to 73s here. There's a good chance it's wants to kind of catch up towards AMD's prices, 90s, 80s, who knows? Same sector type stock, but if it keeps pushing up, just watch it. I'm going to have to watch every one of these levels as we keep breaking. It closed up pretty good on Friday above that 73.19, hit a high of 74.43. There's a good chance we'll break it again and be another play. So if you guys like this one, definitely want to continue playing. Netflix, no play, but consolidation, just watching it due to a sector stock. And Jay is just another one I'm watching. Neo, nothing really happening here other than the fact that we've pushed up strong on that day, but we've got some selling off from here on. We could definitely falter back down to the $40 level here again, the low 40s or around 40 and some change before it may try to bounce off again. But a continual watch, but not really a play yet. But could possibly bounce this week. NVIDIA, I'm kind of excited about NVIDIA due to the fact it is starting to push back up right here. It is a little more of an expensive play. But what's got me more excited about it is that it's a double inside day. Okay. Meaning that Thursday's high and low is shorter than Friday's high and low. And Wednesday's high and low, excuse me. And Friday's high and low is even shorter yet than Thursday's high and low. Okay. Giving me the possibility that it breaks the highs. There's a good chance that this could actually explode pretty good. But I'm watching it. It is in the sector with AMD. It's in the sector with MU. It's in the sector with all of those, which reminds me, I need to throw TSM up here and watch that one too. It's pushing all-time highs, and it's in the exact same sector as well. So keep this one on your radar too. This one actually may be a play tomorrow too. It looks pretty dang good. But NVIDIA, watching those stocks, they do look good. Playing the tech sector is kind of my my favorite field of playing. Penn, same sector as D King, but not really any play right there yet. Pick. This is the EV stock. It's still getting pumped up pretty substantially, kind of like LAZR is right now. Big moves. It's hard to say how much higher we go, but I've got to watch these on the hourly candle. 1669, 1705, 1741, 1791. If we start breaking those levels, I'll definitely probably alert it and play with it. If you guys want to play along with it, just know it, just use caution. These plays are these SPAC plays that have, potential to get dumped pretty hard if, the pumpers decide to pull out a good stake out of it. So worth watching, but just use caution on those. Pins, big pullback on Friday, but still a play. It's still in a pattern there. We could push up. It's off these all-time highs is why I'm watching it, but I'll be ready to alert it when it does. PLTR has been struggling. I hate to say it that it could actually fall some more. I don't think this thing is quite done falling yet. There's no sign of reversal yet. There is a lot of potential for this. We could actually come on down here to 23s again. We could even probably venture to hit 22s or even lower. But I'm watching this one closely. I'm waiting for a sign of reversal on this one. We did get to play some pretty strong moves off this on last week. But it's slow. It's a really slow mover, and I've got to wait till the buyer's market decides to come back in for it. I'm not going to play puts on this. It's not worth playing a sideways action to a very, very slow bleed. I mean, you're just killing yourself or shoot. It's like shooting yourself in the foot and walking at the same time. I mean, it's the most worst thing in the world. So possible play to come up, but not yet. Plug, same exact situation there. Possible play to come up, but not really liking it just yet. So I'm watching it this week to see if we get some signs of recovery with Blink. Blink and Plug, same exact sector of stock. So you want to put those two together. If you're watching Blink, put Plug right beside it. Piton, it's kind of with Lulu. Okay. If Lulu does really good on earnings this week, as we covered Lulu earlier, with earnings on Lulu being the 10th and after hours, if Lulu keeps pushing up, it may actually help Piton a little bit. These are stay-at-home kind of stocks, indoor gyms, in-home gyms, that kind of thing. So we'll see if that helps. But Piton does give good plays. I do like the breaks of 116 and 117 up here. If it wants to smash through those, then we'll fill this gap. Okay, you see this gray highlighted area I've got as a gap. To fill that gap, we need to go up here and hit, what is it, 123, pretty much dead on at 123. So 114 and 123 is a pretty good move for options. But watch it closely. I think there's going to be potential to go fill that gap, maybe even this week, if it gets volume to actually do so. PayPal, I like it just to the fact it's at all-time highs. But watching these levels right here for possible playing. QS, big push. This is another SPAC type play. Big drop and then push back. But watching it, you just got to be careful with those. Riot Tier, I know this is Angie's little play, and it's been actually doing pretty dang well. This is a play with Bitcoin. It's hitting some crazy high levels. Obviously, if we go back in time, this thing is hitting some pretty massive numbers in the past. 40 something. I don't know if we've had a reverse split since then or not. That was back in 2018 or 2017. Back when Bitcoin really ran to some all-time highs, but the strength on this stock is actually pretty phenomenal right now. I mean, it's pushing on up there. It could continue to keep going. I'm watching these levels above it. So if you guys like to play a little bit of a Bitcoin sector type play, this is probably not a bad choice. But start looking for those 11s, 12s, 13s, maybe even 14s coming up this week. I mean, looking at our move from Monday, we've had a green day every single day in a row. And I know I'm not playing Bitcoin plays, but I actually might play this one. So we'll see how this one actually looks going into tomorrow and start breaking the 1015, 1059 level, which was our high on Friday. I'll start looking for that 11s. And I think options are relatively decent on this one too. So you guys can play along if you want to. I'll probably choose monthlies though, due to the fact of it being such a cheaper one. but you could probably play the $10 calls. Yeah, look, good volume, good spread. That's actually really good. Implied volatility is high. So get out of it if it decides to pull back, because that'll start getting crushed a little bit. But that strength is obviously there. You could probably see this implied volatility go up to 300%, 400%. Who knows? If the strength is still there, that implied volatility will increase. Your options will definitely increase as well, and the premiums as well. So if you feel more confident, you could probably jump into some Januaries. Maybe grab yourself a 12, maybe even a $15 call. Yeah, they're not bad either. 15s for January. They may be a slower mover though. See, the low is 145, the high is 220. So they're a slow mover. Nothing crazy fast. So to be honest, I'd rather play the day trading move of December 18s. You see, we got a low of 117 and a high of 28 there. So that's almost 100% move versus something that's really slow, being the Januaries. But if you like it as a whole, those Januaries are probably not bad as a swing. But good potential with Riot. RMG is another stock that just massive candle on Friday from 15s to 18. This is another SPAC play. Like I said, be cautious with these. I'm watching it, but if we're on up here to break some higher levels, and I think this one actually has options as well. Roku, all-time highs on Friday. It's just booming, breaking levels. So I'm watching this one. I'll probably throw it in alerts tomorrow morning. I want to see the break of 298, start seeing these targets above it. Roku is a pretty decent payer. So watch those options. We could definitely come up here. I'll probably start finding targets a little bit in between these lines, because I don't want to put too high of price targets, as we'll probably pull back in between those. But one to watch this week as we continue to keep growing higher and higher. SPE's on a reversal, watching it close. Snap. Okay, Snap is definitely an alert tomorrow morning. As long as we look good in pre-market, we look healthy, we're at all-time highs. We tapped on it twice, Thursday and Friday, the 48.61. We kept talking about that in chat. Actually, it was at 41 or 48.60, and my price target break was 48.61. I was getting teased about being off a penny, but it's still right on there. Okay, we break that level, we look good. We'll get up here and we'll see 50 23s, 50 21, or 50 51, 52, and so on. So we'll see what this looks like, but I want to say we're definitely going to break that 48.61 tomorrow, due to the fact that the sellers could not drive Snap down Friday. They tried to, but it held its ground pretty dang good. I mean, I'm impressed. We pushed up and we went sideways, but they couldn't contain it. So we'll see that break. Like I said, that 48.61 is right here. So we get up there and we start pushing. As we see, we've hit it here and we've hit it here. Okay, this was Friday's high. This was Thursday's high. So we push up above it. That's my entry. I'm going to play those calls. I'm going to play those $50 monthlies, no doubt. The Snap, $50, December 18th. You guys can play with me on those if you want to. They're pretty cheap, $1.32, $1.36, plenty of volume. Theta and Delta is excellent. Implied volatility is excellent. If you guys like something a little more risky, you could probably venture to the December 11s and probably grab the 48s or the 50s if you want to. There's cheap, 75 cents to 79 cents. I'm not thrilled about a 4-cent spread there being a penny option, but it could potentially make really good on those as too. You see $56 to $1.03. That's 100% move right there. So good potential. I like Snap. Snap's one of my favorites going in tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be all over it. Snow. This is the good old Clark Classic. Big move, and JSB was extra giddy playing this one tomorrow, and I know the ladies love him extra giddy. But he's probably going to have to hang on his seat, because he's going to get more giddy as we get up here above $400. So watch that one closely. I think we're definitely going to smash 400 probably tomorrow. I mean, there's a good chance of it. We're at 380s. You guys can play it very carefully. The options are super spready. Play one contract, okay? Don't get all balls in, go 10 and 20 on something like this. It is chaos. I mean, you can be up 100% and down 100% in the next minute on this call on these options because they are super, super, super spready. So be cautious of it. But it is flagging very nicely. We held the supports right here very strongly. It is retracing. I like this pattern because it's well on its way to break that level. I'll chart it out. I may throw some price targets, and we'll see exactly what that looks like. So be cautious. It is all-time highs up here. But I'm liking it. It's got a good flag formation going on right now on the hourly chart. We start pushing up here to 413s. Breaking that 400, it could definitely run another $20, maybe even $30. Hell, even $40 is probably not out of the question. That's a big move. We'll play this one carefully. We'll probably play it on live. We may not alert it on the Twitter page due to the fact of the risk that it carries with it. But let's take a look at some of these options just out of curiosity. What would some 430 calls for Friday look like? $8. See that spread? $1.20. The volume is only 641. They're super, super spready. But you see that theta? You're burning $1.34 a contract versus only 26 cents a move. But when she moves, man, she's moving $5, $10, $20 at a time sometimes. And that 26 cents a contract move for every dollar it makes can rack that premium up pretty substantially. So just be careful of this one. Obviously, it is very high risk, but I can't deny these moves. I mean, that's some serious momentum going on with Snow. 430 calls. I think there's a possible. Oh man, that is spready. I ain't touching that one. December 18th, 14. That's a $4 spread. What the hell? So I may play ballsy with the December 11th 430s just to the fact that I've got a $1.20 spread instead of a $4 spread. But then again, as we increase, this probably will get spreadier and spreadier. Yeah, January, no doubt, probably has safer options. Let's take a look at those. Maybe 450 January's. Still a $5 spread, Clark. It's dangerous, man.
Yeah, they played the 500s on Friday.
Okay. I think they were dealing with this. Yeah, see, it's a $2 spread. That's a little better.
Yeah, but at one point they were $4 or $5 spread even on Friday.
Yeah, I can't handle that. So I may just play the December 11th and just play it very carefully with small amount, and just be careful with it. But I made the December 11th 420s, 430s. Let's see what that looks like.
I think JSB had the 500s at $9.
Okay.
And they held.
Well, even these 500s for December 11th, look at that. A low of 26 cents and a high of $10.
Yeah, that was Friday was stupid.
Look at that. 26 cents, $10, and that's a 500
That's nuts.
for December 11th. And the spread is only 20 cents. That's actually not a bad option. I may play that one. I know that's risky as hell, being that far out of the money with such a short amount of time. But I don't know. I'll watch it tomorrow. Just treat it as a lotto play with these moves, though.
Well, and you got to scalp it, and honestly, 100% is huge.
Yes.
So don't get greedy, guys. That's that's the main thing if you do play it.
Yeah, you got to take those gains because, man, it'll erase those gains as fast as it made them.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one here, we've got Solo. It's an EV play. Just watching it, no movement there. Clark covered Space a little bit earlier too before we started tonight, and Space is setting up really nicely. I mean, it's got a nice upwards going the past couple of days here. And I like this one even going into tomorrow. We break that 29.61 is game on. Even breaking Friday's high, which is, what is that price? 29.23. Even breaking Friday's high could be a potential entry for me. If we break it and if we try to break 29.61, that shows me I'm a good entry. But if we fail 29.61 and wants to pull back, I can get out with a little bit of a cushion, being that I entered early at 29.23. But watch those targets 30, 30, 51, 31, and so on. But this is definitely good potential this week to play this one. But I really like this chart. It is pushing up. We played this one back many times back here in December of last year, January, February of earlier this year. I mean, it's a good options player. And some of those calls, let's say we break 29, you could probably get away with some $35 calls, $30 calls. And let's take a look at those prices. I probably will play monthlies though. December 18th, $30 calls. Yeah, $1.88, $1.95, 5,000 volume. It's still plenty good. You probably even stretch it out to a 35, maybe. Yeah, you're squeaking by. 80 cents bid, 85 cents ask. That's not bad. 5-cent spread, 939 volume. A little bit low, but that's actually not a bad option right there. So I like this one definitely this week. Even the 32s, and a little spready on the 32s. I'll probably stay in fives. Okay, so 30 and 35s. Doing this in between stuff is gets you spready and low volume. 33s is actually surprisingly decent. 31s, yeah, not so good. Spread is still good, but the volume is not. Yeah, definitely good candidate for this week if you guys like to play that one. Even December 11, maybe $30 calls. Yeah, oh yeah, that's really good. 12,000 volume, $4 bid, $9 ask. You probably get away with the December 11th $30 calls with a dollar option. That's a good looking mover right there. Which is probably what I'll play on those. Spotify made an all-time high this last week as well, and it's not something I want to really avoid. So I'm watching it this week. I kind of want to see exactly if it breaks that all-time high. It pulled back on Thursday and actually retained it on Friday. So if it flags here for a couple days or even tomorrow or whatever and starts breaking that 330 again, Spotify could definitely push on up some pretty good numbers. I mean, that was a big move on Wednesday that it made from 281 to 330. I mean, yes, that's a nutty move. And those options paid huge. So if it flags here, which is exactly what it's trying to do, it's trying to create a bull flag. I think it may need a 2 days, 3 days, whatever. And maybe Thursday or Friday, it's ready to break out some more. So we'll see exactly how it does right there. But that's kind of my vision in on that particular stock. But I like it for this week. SPY, of course, breaking crazy highs. I'm just going to throw this up here because we might as well just go ahead and hit it.
Just wait for 400, Mike.
There you go. It's up there, guys. So we'll just see exactly what happens there.
Did I miss you go over Apple?
No, I covered Apple. I think Apple's pulling back for maybe a day or two yet.
Okay.
Yeah. You see here on SPY. You see on SPY, guys, there's no resistance all the way to 400.
It's blue skies. It's going. It's going, guys. It's freaking going.
You seen what Powell did Friday before close?
I wasn't there. Remember, I left.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I said 370. It got close.
Yep, close.
I'm not playing SPY. I'm just observing it just because I'm not comfortable playing SPY being in this crazy territory. But as long as it stays healthy and doesn't affect the rest of the market, that's all I care about. But something I do want to tell you guys, you saw how delicate SPY is at these levels when Pfizer came out with the news. So just be mindful of that. Anything to do with the vaccine makes SPY extra delicate. Okay. So watch that news on anything that could negatively impact vaccines to that nature. I mean, SPY raced its entire gains in a matter of minutes last week whenever it did that. So just pay attention to it. It's super delicate up here because bears are all over this. They're ready to short the hell out of it. It's all-time highs, it's like, how can we keep doing this? But, just be prepared for it. I know we're going to eventually pull back, but we may not pull back till January. Okay. We may actually continue going till the end of December to 380s, 390s. There is the possibility 400. I don't know. It's tiny candles right now. And we'll see exactly how that moves up. It could be January before we actually see any substantial pullback. We do got all these gaps down here, but we may completely leave them altogether. Different times calls for different markets sometimes. But just know it was a little delicate. That surprised me how bad the Pfizer news really affected, being how delicate it actually is up at these levels. Tesla, Robert Adams, you're drawing on my screen. I'll raise it. You're good. Tesla here pushing up to some crazy highs as well. We noticed that we hit the $600 right at it practically. But it looks like it's really good going into close. So I think there's a good possibility right here. We're going to start popping that 600, that 609 and so on, the new all-time high. Probably see some pretty good levels out of this. We may see $10 extra on the SPY. We may be closing at 610 on Friday. We may be closing at 620 on Friday. I don't know. But something to keep an eye on. It is pushing up pretty strongly. It does have the S&P inclusion this month on December 21st. So watch that date. I think as we continue grinding, we're going to keep pushing up to this gray line I've got right there, which is the date. So could be a continual good one on this one.
Do you think that they'll possibly offer shares on Tesla? Come out with an offer because of the inclusion in S&P?
Well, it's at all-time highs. He could probably take some money from it. I mean, it's a good opportunity to do so. I know what the guy who's short on it was suggesting it to Elon. I don't know. Maybe Elon's fine. Maybe we don't know. There's a possibility, but it doesn't really affect Tesla whenever it does.
Yeah, I know.
Because when he's done it in the past, we literally, I mean, it really
Just
even
keep going.
yeah, it just kept going. Just it barely even phased it. So I think we might be fine. But I'll be watching that 598 break tomorrow. Break the 598, we'll probably push on up into the 600s here. TSM, I'm pushing this right along with MU. Showed this one earlier as well. UPS, I'm just watching it due to the fact that FedEx is at all-time highs right now. Workhorse, watching this for any sign of recovery as we continue on that one. Work, I'm just watching it due to the fact that CRM is buying it, and you know, if they turn down the deal or something negative happens, we may come all the way back down too. I don't know. I think they're way overpaying for a little Slack app, $30 billion for something like that. But we'll see what happens. XPV, it's another EV sector stock that's definitely bleeding, just like NEO right now, but still watching it, no play. Zoom, watching it right now. I don't really feel this is as a play just yet, but it does have two inside day candles right now. So it's got my attention a little bit. If it breaks these highs from Friday and Thursday and Wednesday, then of course we got ourselves a bullish move. If it breaks the lows on those particular days, we could continue down. So maybe even here, under 400 again. But so far, it seems like 400 is kind of, people like to buy it at 400, it seems like. So right now, it's not really a play. A $10 move on Zoom is nothing to be excited about. It's not enough to play with options in that manner. Zynga, I do like Zynga. Okay, I know Krieg's talked about this when he added some on the dip here. That's a pretty substantial bounce back we've pushed on it. I think he's playing the January $9 calls on that. He added at 19 cents, like 40 something cents now or something. So this is definitely headed on its way up here to $9. We'll probably crush it this week, maybe even go a little further. Who knows? It is a slower mover. But good possibilities could come up here and keep pushing if you guys like a cheap option. But anyway, guys, that's all the plays I wanted to cover tonight on the earnings report plays, my watch list in general. If there's something that comes across my screen, maybe during the week or something, and I get excited about it, I'll add to the list here. If you guys got TrendSpider, you guys can actually export my watch list to your TrendSpider, and you can actually see exactly whenever I update this list. So that's entirely up to you guys if you want to play along with that or not. But if we get something during intro day or intro week, then I'll throw it up there, obviously. But for now, this is the list I like and that I'm watching. But anyway, guys, if you got any questions, throw it in the Zoom chat here or just open mic.
Hi, Mike. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I really do like Roku too. That is a nice chart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I noticed I was looking at a couple of videos today, and I hope I say this right. Oasis or whatever had been asking you about VFF.
Mhm.
And that is one of my top 3 plays for pot plays.
Okay.
I play VFF and ACB and Tilray. They're the best. They have the best floats and excellent potential. So I'm not sure if you want to add VFF to your list there with, as a pot play.
Yeah, I'll watch it along with the other pot plays as well.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely on a good move right now too.
And it's got the best float. They're
Hmm.
a good business.
We had some highs back in 2019 of 18,
Hmm
14. Yeah, it's well on its way back up there. Could definitely see some highs continue here, but it does look good as long as the Senate doesn't delay that bill or downside it. That's the only thing I'm kind of patiently waiting on.
I thought I read something on Friday that it got approved.
Yeah, it passes the House here, but it has to go to the Senate. And if the
Oh, okay.
Senate denies it or uses it as a way of leverage for their little stimulus they're trying to do,
Yeah.
may affect it. So that's
Yeah.
but it's worth a watch. And as long as something gets done, we'll see. But it may be next year before we actually get really any of that into law if it does actually pass with the Senate.
hmm Cool.
White Dynamite says that American Airline candle is crazy, closed at the same price it opened, not a red or green candle, just gray on mine. Yep, that's correct, Dynamite. It's a flat day for Friday on American Airlines. So I'm watching it just because the vaccine affects these stocks. If vaccine looks good and continues rolling with it, could potentially go higher. But something to do keep in mind with American Airlines, it did gap up. Okay, this is where we closed on Thursday, right here, this little area. We opened right here and closed right here, so it's actually a new high close from Thursday's move. So it closed higher, but it was still flat. So it could actually falter tomorrow and come back down. Due to the fact it got nowhere with the bulls at all pushing it up like that. Any other questions, guys?
How do I become a millionaire?
Do what?
How do I become a millionaire, Mike?
You go all in with snow.
And Riot.
I could have on Friday. Shit, that ain't no joke. Jeez.
You talked about Riot briefly. Do you mind if I say a couple of things there, Mike? Or
Yeah, go for it.
okay. Riot, if you're playing Riot, you need to watch the Bitcoin chart, BTC USD. And it will run with Bitcoin during market hours. So if Bitcoin starts to pull back during market hours, Riot will pull back during market hours. If Bitcoin goes up, it will go up. So don't worry so much about what happens on the weekend or overnight. We don't, as long as it recovers, it can dip overnight. As long as it recovers, it'll be fine. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. So Bitcoin pulled back slightly for the weekend. It has recovered. We had a fantastic weekly close. But in all honesty, I'm looking for an all-time high on Bitcoin probably this week or next week. I'm looking for approximately between 22 and 23,000. And then I do expect it to pull back for a couple of weeks. So if you're going to play it, I'd keep I'm sticking to the weeklies right now. I do have my leaps, but they're like next June kind of thing. I'm out of the March ones. I'm in June. I'm probably going to, add
Which
to
Junes are you
the,
buying?
pardon me.
Which in June, like what strike are you buying?
I think I still have $7 left.
Okay.
And I'm up 1,000% almost right now on those, but I'm looking to scale. Mike and I talked about it, and I was actually looking at holding some right through, but I'm not sure. I haven't decided really yet. So I'm still sitting.
I'd like
with-
to buy a couple, but just to hold on to, farther out next year.
Well, if you're going to look at that, like I say, I do expect Bitcoin to pull back after we hit that 23,000.
Right.
So it's going to have a couple of weeks. We're coming into a really volatile time soon. So you're going to have to kind of pay attention. And if you're going to go for the Junes, totally bid sit, low ball bid sit on them.
Okay.
Because I have some pretty lofty targets. So I'm not even going to tell you what my targets are on it because you'll all laugh at me. But
400 million is going to be coming next year, guys.
you're right, man. Book it. And no, Riot has never done a reverse split. Mara has,
Okay.
but Riot has never done. That's why I play Riot instead of Mara. I like those better.
Yeah.
And it's only about a 50 million float.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good play. And the options are great now. The volume is there. It came in the last couple of weeks. It's been awesome.
Mhm.
I lost last week on Zoom, XPEV, and PLTR. Burned me. I still ended the week green because of my Riot.
Gotcha. Well, at least you guys hear that. Just treat BTC as the spy of your stock with Riot.
Yes.
So if Bitcoin moves up or down, it's affecting spy or affecting Riot instead of spy affecting Riot. Like spy would affect
Yes.
the market.
Yes. Riot doesn't care what SPY is doing,
Yeah.
but it will move with, I have both open all day long. And it's so nice. I was on a 5-minute and it just sets right up again. You can see there it goes. It's bouncing again. So the ABC pattern, it's actually a scallop. They set up beautifully all day long.
Cool. Well, anyway, guys, any other questions before we call it a night? I hope you guys feel like you're prepared for this next week. All right, gentlemen.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. I
I
guess
feel like I'm prepared for tomorrow anyway.
okay. Well, that's a start. That's a start.
Tomorrow's Monday.
Money Monday. There you go.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good weekend or a
All
good night. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you guys in the morning.
Hey, thank you, Mike.
Go.